feel like I could never be like a Dirk, who like Lil Durk will go on stage with like 3 layers of clothing on, and it's like he can dress like that because he's not prepared to do much.
Right. That's
he is going to be within about 3 feet of motion, and you know, like the crowd performs for him pretty much, so he can wear a full fit. Like I can't wear
because you're about to.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like if I wear a jacket on stage, it's only for like the first 15 seconds of the first song. Like after that, it's a wrap. Chicago with Denzel this last time, cause before the show we went into the venue. I forget what the venue was called, but there was like these balcony type things, like these. I called them like John Wilkes Booth ass like fucking balcony sections. You know, like they were like above the GA, and they were like on each side. And so before the show, during sound check, we were like, yo, like it'd be sick if we went, like if I went on one side, you went on the other side, and like we like, you know, like to get to those things was kind of like a mission. So we had like our DJ do like the beginning of the song, and it was like bo bo, and we cut off the stage, went all the way like down underground, had to climb up the stairs. Fucking Jaw went to like this side balcony, and then I ran like through the crowd up top in the balcony all the way to the other side of the balcony, and then we were like on opposite sides of each balcony, and he was like standing literally on the rail, like fucking it, and like that fall is not like shallow. Like if you fall, you're probably gonna die, because it's like you're not gonna fall into the crowd. There was like a little gap between the crowd and like the wall, so it's like, bro, you're eating shit.
Did the venue know that you were finna do it?
No.
Were they hot?
No. Like because of how it turned out, they were like super hyped. We did a lot of shit. Like we've broken a lot of rules in shows, but it was always worth it.
You always gotta ask for forgiveness.
Yeah. Never permission.
Especially when you're taking like creative risks like that. Like you're not just like, hey, let's be hella dumb. You're being like, this will make the crowd go crazy.
Exactly.
And you know what I'm saying? And
it's worth it. There's like a old thing that this dude, Noel Gallagher, you know, when Jay-Z went and he headlined, I think Glastonbury or something like that, there was like a lot of controversy.
Yeah, I remember.
Because he was a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't remember, but like, you know, from going back and like looking at shit from those times or whatever, there's this interview where Noel Gallagher is talking about like hip hop performances, and it's like semi-racist, but there's like
he was very racist.
Yeah, but like at the same time, I did take something from it, because he was saying, like, he was talking about Kanye's performances, and he was like, they're really interesting for a hip hop act, because what he was saying is you can only really watch a hip hop act for about 30 minutes. Like that's about as interesting as it gets, and then it's pretty dull from there. And you know, that is because of, you know, I feel like hip hop performances are criticized because there's no live instruments, so it's like there's a lack of improvisation. You know, like a rock band can perform a song like 50 different ways because they wrote it, you know, and they play it on the instruments. But do you need something behind me?
No, I need the Baileys from the car though.
I'm entrenched.
Yeah, that was incredibly interesting.
Well, no, so like he had this criticism of hip hop performances, and he said, you know, that they get dull after 30 minutes because the lack of improvisation. There's not much that you can add to it, you know, and it's like the criticism overall has always been, you know, like you're just rapping pretty much to the track over a beat, you know, like there's nothing special. It's like listening to the track at home, but you just see dudes like jumping around, and you know, as fucking, you know, as racially motivated as that is, you know what I mean? Like when you separate the messenger from the message, to me, you know, I took that and I wanted us to do something that would make it not a regular hip hop performance, you know what I mean? Make it something special and make it something that's full of surprises, you know what I mean? Like something that is beyond what's on the record, you know? And the only way in my mind to do that without having live instruments and such like that was to make it like a play, you know? And that's why we had background singers, you know, because that was like, I remember being in high school and going and seeing a musical. I saw Taming of the Shrew. It's a Shakespeare musical, and fucking like one of the main things that stuck with me was the singers. There were 3 singers, and they sang a fucking song by Sinatra sang it, someone to watch over me. That's like stuck in my head. You know what I mean? So it's like those singers being present for like a couple songs and going on and off stage, you know, having stage cues, everyone having stage cues, like having an ensemble that like rotates, you know what I mean? You have 3 guys that go into this garage space and they kick it for 2 songs and then they leave and then a couple other people come, you know, like the curtain calls, like all this different shit, you know, it gives it life. I mean, I feel like sonically you never know till you're there. You know what I mean? Like you never know till you've done it. But I think, you know, to your point, like that's something that is like an internal struggle for us all the time. You know, it's like how to curb the passion a little bit, you know, to continue to work in an efficient way. But I think one thing that we're learning is that you should never do that. Like, I think one thing we're learning, like we were just talking about this in the car, is every time that we've done some shit that we're really proud of, it came from a place of desperation. You know, like when we first moved to LA, every single thing that we did to set up, you know, and to be able to move to LA came from a place of desperation, came from a place of, oh, we need this, like it's life or death. You know what I mean? And so like there was so much, like in our first project that we put out, Halfway Off the Porch, there's so like that shit I still listen to and cry, and it's like I can't really even listen to it because it's like I know where I was, like I had nothing, you know what I mean? It's like you couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you're just in it, and it's like we, you know, if this shit don't work, we gotta make something else, and if that shit don't work, like, but we have to, something has to work. There's no like, it not working is not an option. And every single time that we've been in that place, like with this last album, I feel like we went back into that place where it was like, you know, this has to work. Like we have to do this, and the only way that you can really do that successfully, I think, is just being honest, like just being real, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's one thing that also is another fucking product of, you know, the accessibility to, you know, music and the arts, is people are, you know, curbing their passion and trying to act like they don't care that much because it's like kind of weird to care a lot, you know what I mean? It's like weird to be passionate. It's not the coolest thing for people, but it's like if you look at anyone's heroes, you know, like for me, like Kanye, Pharrell, Andre 3000, like Lauryn Hill, like Stevie Wonder, you know, like all of these people that I look up to, it's like there's one thing that they have in common, and it's that they care. They care. Like fucking directors, like fucking Quentin Tarantino, you know, Kubrick, like fucking Paul Thomas Anderson, like all these people. One thing that they have in common that links them is that they care. They are nerds. They are geeks for what they do. Like they give a shit. Like they can sit here and talk to you about this shit. Like Dilla, Q-Tip, Questlove, all these people, they could write books. Like they can sit here and talk to you about this shit until they turn blue in the face because they love it. So it's like they're not doing shit for people who are casual, you know, casual viewers and casual consumers of this shit. Like they're doing it for people who live and breathe this shit. You know what I mean? So it's like that's the only way to do shit. Like you get a lukewarm version of whatever you're trying to make when you try to pretend like you don't care as much as you really do. There's no point, you know. Like
the real, he's speaking the real.
What did I tell you? I'm cultivating vibes. I'm cultivating vibes. That's why I'm cooking.
Like this nigga's giving a dissertation on how to be a better artist and human in this musical world, but has not cooked one thing.
I'm here to talk and I'm here to eat, man. That's it, bro.
Everybody eats, baby.
And I'm here for moral support.
No, we're changing the name of the show. Jody eats.
Jody eats.
You can't get fascinated by the little shit, bro. Like you just gotta keep it pushing. Like it don't matter, you know. Like if some shit get good, it is what it is because that's for a season, bro. Like, you know, life is duality. Like for everything that's good, there's gonna be equal parts bad. And you just gotta fucking navigate through that and take it for what it is. You know what I mean? Like once you get juiced on yourself, the universe knocks you on your ass.
Oh my, yes.
to show you your mortality. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like there's points where you're about to reach a new peak and the universe has to gut check you?
Fuck yeah.
'Cause I feel
It's happened to us so many times.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
It's happened to us so many times. It's happened to us so many times where we're at this peak of this mountain and we're like, yo, we're the shit. We're untouchable and we own the world. And then we get kicked right off that motherfucker, face first into the ground. You have goals that you set when you're at a certain point in life, when your worldview is very small.
Yeah.
So it's like the shitting on people thing, you know, that was a goal that I had set at a time where I felt very small and my worldview was very small. But it's like you realize that you get to that point really quick. You know, I got to a point where I was able to say my fuck yous like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like after you're able to do that, you're like, well, fuck, I have no more drive. You know, I have no more motivation now because my main motivation, the main thing that was pushing me to do anything was this, and I've already accomplished it. What now? You know what I mean? And so it's like, that's a point that I got to where I was lacking drive. I didn't have any motivation because I had already been able to say, you know, I was already able to tell my mom, look, I did it. I was already able to, you know, stun on anybody that, you know, didn't fuck with me or who shitted on me in high school or like fucking old friends or like old girls who ain't want to fuck with me. You know, I was like, oh, I'm that nigga. You know what I mean? But it's like I've lived in LA for 3 years now. Like at some point you got to have something else that you're doing it for.
What next?
So it's like in my mind, like I had to sit with myself for a minute and be like, all right, what do I want out of this? It's like, it's not money because that comes and goes as well. And that's not enough of a drive for me. It's never really been enough of a drive for me. Like I want to survive, but money itself is just not enough for me. And so it was like, what is something real? And I realized that something that all these people that I look up to have is that respect. You know, they respect the craft. They respect the art. They respect the history of it. And in turn, they put so much of themselves and so much realness into every single thing that they create that they have the respect of everyone. You know, like Lil Wayne is respected as one of, if not the best rapper of all time. He has that respect that no one can take away from him. He can do anything. He can make the shittiest fucking, he can make 3 shitty ass albums right now and put them out. And he will still be respected as one of the best rappers of all time based on the work. Based on the catalog, you know? It's like fucking Kanye. He be doing a lot of stupid shit, but it's like, what is something that no one can take away from him? You know, you can take away his money. You can, you know what I mean? You can take away his, you know, a little bit of his dignity. You know, you can take away the light of how people view him. But you can't take away the respect that he has based on the things that he's put into this world. And so it's like, that's what it was for me. That's what it became. It was like, I want the respect. I want, at the end of this shit, whenever it ends for me, whenever the end of my story is, I want people to look back at everything that I've done and respect me as somebody who cared and somebody who did shit to change everything, no matter what. Who put out shit that means something, you know, not somebody who saw a way to get a check and saw a way to make a living and saw a way to stun on people. Nah, like I want respect for this art, you know, like I want to be respected as somebody who did what they were supposed to do with it and treated it right. You're you regardless. Like there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? So it's like fucking letting other people in and letting in that other influence, and you know, it only makes, like, at the end of the day, we want the end product, you know?
Say it again?
Like at the end of the day, we want the end result.
Yes.
You know, like we want the final product. And it's like, I look at it as like a We Are the World situation, you know, like the Michael Jackson, like We Are the World, and like how he had like all those fucking artists on that song, you know what I mean? It's like
Band-Aid.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. Like that's what the end goal should be, is making the best shit.